Hello, it's great to be here, even if only virtually, to have the chance to share with you what we've been doing in South Australia Health to demonstrate how our services are providing real and measurable value to the department. I was asked to speak today about how we developed a method of showing that mediated literature searches performed by librarians save clinicians time. I thought perhaps I'd give a very brief description of the SA Health Library services for those of you who aren't familiar with our setup here in South Australia. The South Australia Health Library Service looks after all the South Australian Department of Health and Wellbeing. It was recently renamed as such following a state election. As Knowledge Manager, I head the service and my team are distributed in the site libraries of the teaching hospitals in metropolitan Adelaide. While there are print resources at these sites, most of our material is available electronically, and we make it available through the library website SALUS. SALUS, by the way, isn't an acronym, it's the name of the Roman goddess of health and well-being. One of the main things that I've been doing since I got into this role was to consolidate all the old site-based subscriptions and licenses into single licenses that were available to all of SA Health. That's meant that all of the SA Health staff now have access to all of the information resources that they need to support their work, so that there is equity of access to all of the SA Health staff to the library services and the library resources. We consider that's been quite an important and significant achievement. So, how do we deal with literature searches? The search requests come in either via the library website itself through SALUS, via email, by phone or in person if someone's come in. And at the time of collection, we obtain data on the type of patron, whether they're a doctor or a nurse or so on, and the purpose of the search. We actively encourage patrons also to provide feedback when we've finished the searches and have delivered the results. We like to get some indication of how the literature retrieved helped the patron in their work, and then we can get an idea of how the searches that we've done actually improve the work of the department and also improve the delivery of appropriate patient care. That's quite an interesting topic in its own right, and which I'd be happy to talk about on another occasion. But today we're focusing on saving clinicians time and why we did this piece of work. We wanted to be able to prove to the department and our administrators that we would be able to save that most valuable commodity of the clinicians, which is their time, and to present this in a form of a key performance indicator which could be regularly and easily updated and then presented on a regular basis to the administration of the department. The work was inspired by the results of the report which was commissioned by ALIA from the independent economic consultants SGS Economics and Planning, and that report was released in 2013. The consultants undertook a cost-benefit study to determine or value the direct benefits that we, as health librarians, provided to our patrons by retrieving information for them rather than them having to do it themselves, and they describe that as an opportunity cost. So the key phrase for us was among their conclusions. They found that library staff are much more efficient than their users when it comes to the time it takes to perform research, literature reviews, document delivery and referencing tasks. In fact, 3.3 times faster. So since 2014, we've been collecting data on the turnaround time of performing mediated searches, and we found that the average duration of a search was shown to be 2.3 hours for both the fiscal years 2015 to 16 and 2016 to 17. For logistical reasons, we worked with the average search time, although obviously searches do take different times to perform. Knowing this, the calculation was actually a fairly simple one. We firstly stripped out the literature searches that were performed on behalf of clinicians which had been identified by them themselves, the clinicians, as being for the purpose of informing patient care. So that number was isolated from the total number of searches performed on all sorts of topics, policy and so on, for all our patrons. We had the number of 788 searches. So based on that efficiency value identified by SGS Economics in that report of 3.3, being the amount of time faster that it takes a librarian to do a search than a clinician, we then made the calculation that if it takes a librarian 2.3 hours to perform a search and it takes a clinician 3.3 times longer to do it, it would take a clinician 7.59 hours to do the same search as a librarian. We then multiplied that into the 788 searches that we'd identified as being pertaining to clinical care, and we came up with 5,980.92 hours, nearly 6,000 hours of clinicians' time that we'd saved by doing the mediated search. We took this formula to the Library Services Financial Business Advisor, and she tested the model and endorsed it. So we wrote it up as a key performance indicator, and we presented it to the Chief Finance Officer and the Chief Medical Officer of the Department of Health. My colleague Lindsay Harris and I subsequently published a paper in the journal Business Information Review, in which we described the various key performance indicators that we've developed, including this one, which we call Mediated Literature Searching and Clinicians' Time Saved. I've sent the DOI of that article to today's organisers if you're interested in reading the complete article and looking at all of our KPIs, which includes this one in all its detail. If you have any problem downloading the article, please don't hesitate to get in touch, because I'd be happy to send you a copy. It is open access. Of course, these things are never finished, and we're looking at ways in which we can improve our data collection and monitoring of our literature search requests. We're not currently using any tools such as Ref Tracker, but we are examining such tools, and I would be very happy if anybody is using Ref Tracker or a similar tool, if you could contact me and share your experiences with me so that we could learn from it when we're considering what we might do to improve our service and improve our monitoring of our service and data collection. I'd be very happy to learn from your experience. I hope you found this interesting. It's really a very simple technique. We've found it a very powerful demonstration of the value that we can provide in saving clinicians' time. Thanks again for listening, and please don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions or comments after today.